Hello, everyone. Hello. How are we all doing? I'm gonna try to read the comments, but my phone's kind of far away and my eyesight's kind of bad, but yeah, so happy Saturday. We made it another week in quarantine. Just gonna wait for a couple minutes until everyone comes on. Just gonna sage a little bit. Situated. So today has been, like most days this week, kind of like a loop. Just kind of feeling like, I don't know, the end has no end in a sense with everything that's been going on, as we've all maybe collectively have been feeling. But I don't know, it's just like each week it's interesting how we're like spiritually feeling, and it's just kind of like this wave, I feel, of like certainty and then uncertainty, certainty and uncertainty, and it's just kind of like this emotion that we have to go with right now. And yeah, it's just kind of like, it's a weird feeling. I don't know, I've never felt this way before, like in my life, of just, I don't know, because usually I'm able to plan my future and look ahead and have more of a concrete idea of how I want to tackle a problem. And as of right now, it just kind of feels like everything's up in the air. And I don't know, it's very interesting like surf motion that we're on right now collectively. And as each week goes on, how we're changing, how we're adapting, what we're shifting our focus towards. So yeah, I don't know if any of that made sense. Maybe I'm just talking in a circle, but the vibe has been weird, y'all, for some time. So, but yeah, and today, I don't know, I've been feeling very angst. I don't know if it's because we're kind of in the middle of Aries season. Jupiter is now conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, so that's a mood as well. That hasn't happened in like 12 years or something. I don't know. It's been like a weird, like all these planetary transits that are happening this year. It's been like a long time coming. So it's just interesting how everything's playing out with this virus as well. But on my blog, I am writing a 5-part series of all the astrology this year and breaking it down as to why we have this virus, how this virus is going to go, and then what we can expect as the aftermath of this virus. So look for part 2. Part 1 is on my blog right now. But part 2 I should be posting either Monday or Tuesday. So in a couple days I'll post part 2. But part 1 mostly talks about the beginning shift, like how did we kind of start to get in this situation, and that was with That was with Saturn and Pluto being in Capricorn, and then how that's influencing the conjunction that's happening for the rest of 2020. So that's on the blog right now, and then early next week I'm going to talk about Pisces season, more of Aquarius season, and more of Aquarius moving into the other planets as well, and how that's coupled with Aries energy. Just pretty much the stage of this virus has been very compatible with the flow of the planets shifting through each sign. So it's really interesting. And I was looking towards the summer, and with eclipse season also coupled with this major transit, it's going to be really wild. So I don't know, a lot of eclipses happening in Cancer, and it's just going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a wild ride, and I'm kind of scared, but we need to have our seatbelts on at this time. So anyways, so I think I'm going to head into the reading. So I created a new spread. I just posted it on my website, thepunkpriestess.com, if you want to tune in and look at the spread as we do this reading. So this is more about checking in with ourselves during this quarantine, like what's going on with ourselves, checking in with our energy, checking into, you know, what we're all collectively feeling, thinking, anticipating, hoping. So that's what the spread is guided towards today. And on the altar, I have my favorite tarot decks. I have Spoilia Tarot, so this will be the main deck I'm reading with today. And this has the astrological signs as well as the 4 elements. And this was made by Jessa Crispin and Jen May in Brooklyn. And then I have postcards from Liminal Space. This is an oracle deck made by Bakar Winterthur. She owns a shop, Everyday Magic, where my crystals are from here. And then I have Morgan's Tarot, which is postcards, older sister. And I'm going to be using this as another guide for today's readings. I have Florida water, gotta have it, sage, some crystals I have, can't really see it, I'll move it, Garanite, rose quartz, grounding, I have smoky quartz, lapis, and then for transmuting the energy, hematoid quartz. So crystals are great, especially now. You have to kind of work with crystals because we're getting so many downloads from the universe. Like, we need to transmute that energy into something. We need to connect with the magical tools around us to really help guide us during these times. Like, I actually, crazy enough, had a dream about this crystal last night, and I never really have specific crystals like come into my dream, but this came into my dream last night, and I think it's a sign that I need to start working with lapis more. And lapis is the wisdom keeper, so it keeps a lot of the downloads you get from source, from your spirit guides, thoughts that you're thinking, and it turns them into enlightenment. So lapis is a great crystal to use. And also my Garanite crystal, I dreamt about this, and they had a crystal sale for it, Everyday Magic, and I knew once I dreamt about the night before, I'm like, I gotta get a piece of this. So your crystals will come into your dreams. Like, when they want you, when they want to work with you, when they want to connect with you, they'll let you know. And sometimes that's their dreams. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Hello. So, all right, I'm going to shuffle the decks and get started. Any Bikini Kill fans here? One of my favorite bands. I've been listening to that a lot lately. Definitely perfect for Aries season. I mean, Aries invented punk rock. Prove me wrong, but they did. But also on my blog, I have an Aries season playlist. So if you want to get rowdy, if you want to rage, if you want to punch a wall, scream in a pillow, I have a playlist for that. So definitely listen to that this season. Tea. All right, so I'm just gonna sage down this place. Oh, the sage is really weird that I got. I don't know. Maybe I got this from Catland. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Catland in Brooklyn. But this sage has like not been good for me. I'm like, do I have to burn my finger in the process of lighting the sage? So, yeah, so something cool, some new. I updated my YouTube channel. So there's a link on my Instagram right now, and it's also on my website. You can go and watch the weekly readings. Every week I'm going to post them. So if you miss it within the 24 hours that it's on my Instagram, you can head over to my YouTube and you can watch the readings. And yeah, they're not going to be on there, you know, for the time being. I forgot to save the first one, so definitely tune in with the second one that premiered last week. But I'm going to keep doing these weekly readings. I don't know. Probably for the rest of the year. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Crystals need to be cleansed. Get that good. Okay. I'm going to shuffle the deck here. I think it's very important to show the shuffling process because you want to make sure that the cards that are being pulled are authentic and it's like a legit like reading. So I'm looking at the cards the first time as you are. So it's definitely like not any pre-planned like reading with the cards. Because I feel like sometimes you watch like YouTube videos and you don't know like, oh, did they look at the cards before and try to make up, you know, reading or something. So definitely don't do that. Not part of my personal practice. Okay. Also this week, so a lot this week that's going to be happening with the Punk Priestess. So end of next week, my friend Brittany and I at Wild Barefoot Free, we're going to be doing a Libra full moon, little witchy thing. So stay tuned on our Instagram and our Facebook pages. You'll start seeing us promote what we're going to do. We're going to do a meditation and we're also going to do a tarot reading. We're going to do a live over Zoom. So definitely for the Libra full moon on April 7th, look out for us doing some announcements early this week to promote it. But it's going to be really cool. And Brittany's one of my closest friends, and she's an awesome Reiki teacher, and she teaches yoga. So she's going to be doing a meditation. And then I have an offering. So a lot of you know that I create all my own original tarot spreads. So at hopefully the end of this week and next week, definitely soon, in like mid-April, I'm going to be offering some of my spreads for sale. So it's going to be a PDF that you can download, and it's going to have probably like 50 of my original tarot spreads. And most of them, and these tarot spreads have been made over the past 3 years. So most of these spreads are not available anymore, like online. It's only in my personal drive that they're saved. So definitely look out for a PDF of this being available for purchase on my website in the next like week or two. So always trying to have magic available because I know a lot of you read tarot and need a lot of tarot spreads. It's hard. It's hard to find tarot spreads that connect with like what you're looking for, which is why I started making my own. So definitely look out for that. All right. Setting up the spread. Okay, so spread is all laid out. Just take a moment, get comfortable, ground ourselves, get our crystal children by us to soak up the reading, like whatever tools that you're working with, that you want to be in attendance, have your pet in attendance to watch the reading, feel free. Okay, so let's inhale faith, exhale fear. Inhale faith, exhale fear. Okay, so the first card, and again, for those who missed it, I have this spread available on my website right now, and this is called Quarantine Check-In. Okay, so card number 1. What is the overall feeling of the conscious collective right now? Okay, so we pulled 6 of Wands reversed. And it's kind of interesting because we're in Aries season. And last week we pulled the Knight of Wands reversed. So we're still in this energy of fire not being able to ignite, fire not being able to burst into something more. And this is very unusual for this time of the year, because usually this time of the year is all about fresh starts, it's all about beginnings, competing for something, because we're in Aries energy. And right now it's a moment of inaction. And when the 6 is upright, it's about honoring your accomplishments. It's about honoring, going out into battle. It's about honoring your courageousness, your confidence, and your abilities, and who you are, and what you love, and what you're passionate about, and like being able to embrace that and honor it. And when this card is reversed, that means that we're not able to do that at this time. Like, a lot of us aren't able to collectively engage in our passions. We're not able to feel successful even right now, because a lot of us are out of work, including myself. A lot of us are out of, being around people that ignite our flame. It's kind of like, collectively we're starting to feel that we need to anticipate as this being the new normal right now. And with the 6 of Wands, it's like we want to be able to go out in battle and go hurrah and like be strong in our pursuits. And right now we can't do that because we're inside. And there's really no one to kind of show off to at this time. Like, we can't really show off to ourselves because we're not really fulfilling our accomplishments and fulfilling our passions. And we can't really show off to other people by like, hey, look what I'm doing. Isn't this amazing? Because that's what Aries energy is all about. It's all about the self. It's all about embracing who you are and who you're meant to be in this life, and taking ownership of that and having confidence with that and loving it and embracing that. And that's the beauty of Aries energy, is that self-love and that self-mastery. And if we cannot master ourselves at this time because of inaction, because we're forced to be quarantined, because we're forced to be inactive, it's hard. It's hard to really feel like you're consciously being a part of community, of being part of anything bigger than yourself, because you're stuck with yourself at this time. And we have to remind ourselves that we're still amazing, we're still successful, we're still talented, we're still beautiful, we're still loved. We have to keep giving ourselves these words of affirmation if we can't get it from the outside world, because the outside world isn't validating us with a paycheck, or isn't validating us with praise or a promotion or a trophy for first place. Like, we're not, or even compliments if you're going on dates, or like whatever it is that you need like affirmation from. It's just, you got to get that from yourself at this time. And this doesn't mean because you're not receiving praise from others that you can't give it to yourself. And this doesn't mean that you continue to be lazy or complacent. This means that you just have to try harder to really own your power when you can't show it to the outside world. Because, you might feel that no one's looking at you, but really people are. Really people are looking to you for guidance, or looking to you for support. If you're like, your friends or family are looking to you for support or looking for kindness at this time. And we still have to give that, even though we may not 100% be receiving it in the ways that we were before. So we just have to remember that we're still successful. We're still accomplished. We still have that flame inside of us that is never going to die. We just have to take extra precautions to remind ourselves of our strengths and not fall into our weaknesses, not fall into our crutches and being depressed and being unhappy. Like, we have to continue to carry that strength of Aries in this time. Even though we might not feel strong, we have to still show a strong face to the world that we are, that we can conquer this. We're not going to let the uncertainty of this time overtake us. We're not going to let fear win. So collectively, we're all feeling, we maybe had, even for myself, like knowing, like we had a vision of how we wanted 2020 to go. We wanted to accomplish so much, and we have to start reprogramming our brains and telling ourselves that, just because I can't accomplish and conquer and lead in the same way that I was in the past, it doesn't mean I'm unworthy. It doesn't mean that I'm no longer skilled. It doesn't mean that I'm no longer talented. I still am successful. I still am a bad bitch. And I still am that person who I was before the quarantine, but this time around I have to do things differently. So let's go on to card number 2. So card number 2, what do we consciously need to know that we are unaware of? Okay, so we have Leo up right here. And I was mentioning before, with using the Spolia Tarot deck, if you're new and you don't know a lot about this tarot deck, the astrological signs and the 4 elements are in this deck. So we're pulling Leo up right here. And Leo is a fire sign as well as Aries, so it's a sister sign of Aries, and this is compatible energy. This is great energy, and it's also just representing what I said before. It's like things that we need to know that we're unaware of. Like, we need to know that we have power, that we need to remember that we are strong. Even if we're not physically strong like a lion, we're mentally strong. We're prideful. Like, lions rule of pride, and in the pride you look out for each other. And something that we might be unaware of right now is that we do have a lot of power over these politicians, over the uncertainty of this virus. We do have the power to really take pride in not only who we are, but pride in the people who are making masks for hospital workers, who are donating to organizations of like people who are, they need supplies in the hospitals, or they're like losing their jobs, or like whatever it is, like organizations. Like, we have to take pride in community at this time. And Leo is the opposite sign of Aquarius. And as I was mentioning before over the past couple weeks, is that we're just started getting into the age of Aquarius. It will become more known towards the end of 2020. It's going to be like really interesting how we're coming from this patriarchal mentality and way of doing things, and towards the end of 2020, with this whole pandemic going through, we're going to be shifting into this real collective humanitarianism, beautiful energy. And it's going to start in the middle of December, but as of right now, we're starting to learn that there is this value in community, and we're no longer really thinking about ourselves, because with the 6 of Wands reversed, we can't really think about ourselves and our accomplishments right now and what we wanted to do this year, because what we wanted to do this year is put on hold. The success that we wanted to have this year is put on hold. This clout that we wanted to have this year is put on hold. So what can we do? We still got to love ourselves. We still have to take pride in our accomplishments, pride in ourselves, also pride that our gifts can be used towards the collective. Our talents can be used towards the collective. Leo is all about true love and romance and creative self-expression. So what can we do during this time creatively to help the collective, to help our communities? That can mean, sewing masks. That's something creative, and giving them to an organization that will donate them to hospitals. Like, we have to find inventive, fun, creative ways. Even if we don't have a sewing machine, we don't have fabric to make, we can't be creative in that way. We can still create our art. We can still do things for our business that inspire the collective, that uplift the collective, to keep positivity floating around. And it's the perfect time to do that, because we're in Aries season and it's all about creation. Where can we start the fire? If we can't start the fire outside by showing the world what our skills and what we can do, what we can do is show the fire inside of us, our own creative integrity, and bring that out into the world. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I want to pull a clarifier card of Morgan's for Leo. So we have Monday here, the message of Monday, and I feel like it's, Monday like is such a concept. It's very interesting how a lot of us have like rewrote in our minds what Monday even means anymore. Like patriarchal society always is like Monday is the start of a new work week. Well, a lot of us aren't working right now, and I'm just going to speak for the majority of the population around the world, are not working right now. So Monday is like, Monday to me is now just another day. I don't have the Sunday scaries anymore. I don't fear Monday. And there's a message with Monday. It's a fresh start. And if you can't have a fresh start with your career, have a fresh start on Monday with putting more self-love into yourself by starting a new creative project. Maybe have Monday be a special date for you. Maybe instead of, Sunday you did all these rituals and you cleanse your crystals. Maybe now have Monday be that day of refuge. Monday be that day of healing. And I feel like, we got to reevaluate these structures in our mind. We got to tear down these structures in our mind, because once we move into the energy of Aquarius, what's Monday going to be for us? What does Monday mean in this quarantine right now that we're home? It doesn't have the same power and effect, and you can't have these patriarchal systems still continue to suppress your power, still continue to put fear-based mentalities inside of you to keep you small, because Leo energy is not small. Leo energy is fierce. It's going to make you know who they are, and they're going to take center stage, because Leos are the actors in astrology. They want to be seen, they want to be heard, and there's confidence and beauty in that. It's also can be very egotistical, but also at the same time, it's like that confidence, that ability to be seen and to know who you are, that's a gift. And that's something, that power is something that cannot be taken away. And if we're aware of our own power, each individual is aware of their power that they have in society, of their voice, we can really make some change. Some change to the point where we, as a society, look at Mondays as a day of healing, as a day of refuge, as a day of putting love inside of ourselves, instead of putting love into our career, instead of putting love into these structures that don't need to be withheld anymore, these institutions that we don't need anymore because they're not fulfilling us. We should no longer be scared of Monday. We should no longer be scared of the fear out there. We should no longer be scared of the government. We should no longer be scared of the unknown, because Leo knows who they are, and we need to take power and strength and a message from that. The message is Monday. So make your Monday new. Reinvent what Monday can mean for you. Instead of Monday being the first start day of the week, have Monday be a day of healing for you. Monday a day where you do a face mask. Like, reinvent your schedule. Reinvent what you know. So, number 3. What do we know that we can take control of to make change? So what do we know that we can take control of to make change? So we have another zodiac sign coming through, and this is Scorpio. So Scorpio energy is very different than Leo energy, but Scorpio energy is very connected to Aries energy, because Scorpio also shares the planet of Mars with Aries. So I like to look at Scorpio as a more introverted version of Aries, and Aries is a more extroverted version of Scorpio. So Scorpio energy, it's a water sign, but it's strong, it's powerful, and its other planet is Pluto. And right now, with the Pluto conjunction with Jupiter and also with Saturn, we're going to be in this mentality of birth, death, and rebirth, this cycle. And we're seeing that play out right now in society. We're seeing that our visions for ourselves are dying. What we wanted for ourselves this year is dying. But there is a rebirth in discovering who we really are, and discovering our life purpose and our power and our strength. And that is what's going to save us, is this rebirth in society of reevaluating what's important to us and, metaphorically speaking, reevaluating the Mondays in our lives, whatever that means to us. So what we can take control of, we can take control of this process. We can take control that the deeper mysteries that are not revealed to us at the end of the day shouldn't take up all of our time and energy. The fear of this virus shouldn't take up our time and energy. But we should know and be confident in knowing that with as much death that's going to happen on a physical level, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, an equal amount of birth will happen in place of that, because we have to clear space in order for something new to come in. And this is kind of what the universe is doing. This is what karma is doing with us right now with these planets. It's clearing space. It's taking out the bad and the ugly and the patriarchy and the institutions and the things that have been fucking us for some time. And it wants it to clear the space so compassion can come through, humanitarianism can come through, healing can come through. And that's what we need to take control of. Once we realize our power, once we really fall into this Leo energy of our strength, of our intuitive strength, of our emotional strength, is when this process of death can really begin for us. Like, we have to let these structures die, and we have to watch them die willingly. We can no longer protect that's what's trying to kill us, because that's the poison. Like, you have to fight poison with poison. But Scorpio energy is very beautiful, because it is all about divination. It's like using our tools, using our magic, using our intuition to fight against the patriarchy, to fight against these structures. And we have to find ways to collectively do that, to collectively come together with our gifts, with our resources, and destroy what is no longer serving us. And that's what the Scorpio energy is. And also Scorpio rules other people's money. So we have to figure out a way also to get more money into our own pockets. We can no longer be feeding these systems that continue to take from us, that continue to take from the middle class and to keep the poor poor. Like, we can no longer do it. And it's showing up that there's so much financial confusion right now. And like, a lot of people who are on unemployment, are we going to get the $600 every week? When are we going to get our stimulus check? Like, that actually is, shit to begin with. Like, we have to figure out ways that we shouldn't have to be relying on other people's money to help us survive. And right now, the government wants to keep us complacent and wants to keep that control. And it's controlling us through our resources and through our money. So we need to find a way to come together with confidence, with strength, to try to tear these structures down. And it's hard. The process of death is hard, and it's going to take some time. But this virus is showing, this pandemic is showing that we've destroyed the earth. Like, what's coming to us is rightfully so with karma. Like, we've destroyed the earth. We've destroyed each other and being, mean people to each other, killing each other, and being selfish and greedy. And now we're getting what's due to us. We've been so fixated on our careers. We've been so fixated on our business and making money, these tangible things. And with Scorpio coming through, it's like that's going to end. That's going to die. This Capricorn energy, this masculine energy is going to die. So this Aquarius energy can come through. And that's the beauty. But the beauty, there's pain and beauty. I want to pull a clarifier for Scorpio. Okay, so we have the veil is thin here. And again, consoling the death, consoling our loved ones, connecting with Source, connecting with our spirit guides to give us guidance during this time. And, Scorpio rules divination. We need to pull out our spirit boards, our Ouija boards. We need to get our pendulums out. We need to start meditating and scrying and trying to connect with Source to give us guidance during this difficult time. Because our ancestors have lived a life of pain before, and they have with them the wisdom to help us get through this difficult time. The veil is thin, and we have to recognize that we need to rely on divination to get us through, rely on the deaf to help the living, connecting with the deaf, honoring the deaf, acknowledging the deaf, so that we can be a better version of ourselves, so we can try to reshape the messages that we receive from the Mondays in our life. Okay, so card number 4. What are we consciously moving away from? So 10 of Coins reverse energy. And what I was talking about with our focus on the material is what we're moving away from. And we're seeing that now because we're being forced to move away from that. We're being forced to no longer go to work in like our actual physical offices. We're being forced to not spend a lot of money right now. We're being forced to put our career goals on hold, to put our promotional and financial goals on hold. Even for home, like if you wanted to do home improvements, if you wanted to move locationally, we're having to put that on hold. And family events like weddings and graduations, that's being forced to put on hold because we're shifting away from that stuff being what matters. We're shifting away from that taking precedence in our lives. What's going to take precedence in our life is how good of a person we are and how well we're living on earth. Not about how much money we have in the bank and what our, resume has as our job title, blah, blah, blah. And like what school we went to. That materialism stuff, that is from the past. That's from the old days. That's what the boomers cared about. Now we care about compassion and being a good person. And once we come out of this quarantine, in 5-10 years from now, you want to tell the people in your lives, like, this is what I did during the pandemic. This is how I became a better person. Not, this is like how my career took off or blah, blah, blah. Because at the end of the day, people don't want to hear that. It doesn't matter anymore. It's annoying. So we need to stop putting so much emphasis on the material because we have to start over. Many of us lost our jobs. Many of us around the country, are afraid of losing their homes. Like our foundation as we know it is going to crumble and crush, whatever that foundation is to you. And as we go into eclipse season this summer, all the eclipses are happening in Cancer, Capricorn energy. So it's going to be even more of a push to disrupt and dismantle our career and our home life. The materialism is no longer going to take precedence in our lives because there is nothing that's more valuable than your life. No material object, no diploma degree, like no title on your resume or whatever, that is not going to take precedence over your life. You only have one life to live. That's why you got to keep your physical body healthy, not your bank account, not trying to chase, this career or this corporate ladder dream that we may be having because, that's not going to matter towards the end of this year. It's going to be like, wow, what a concept. I actually, thought I was going to have these type of career goals. It's going to be more, well, how can I survive and how can I make myself a better person? How can I help someone else be a better version of themselves and help them survive? It's survival of the fittest out there. And that's what this virus is showing up as. It's like, yes, you can physically be strong to withhold this pandemic with your health, and you can mentally be strong as well. And the mental and the physical are going to survive. It's not going to be the wealthiest person is going to survive because we're seeing this virus take out anyone. It doesn't care if you're rich or poor. If you're rich, it doesn't mean you're immune to a pandemic. And we have to get that in our heads, is that money is not going to save us from this. And that is what the 10 of Coins reverse is showing us. Is like, we got to stop, thinking about this and trying to chase these achievements. Because we're relying on other people's money right now. We're relying on government funding. We're relying on Social Security and unemployment to save us as our salvation. Because we can no longer get that from ourselves. Like, our career ambitions are thrown out the window. We got to find ambition. We got to find our sense of worth in the collective, not through our career and our money. in our home, like in the material objects that you have. Okay, so what are we collectively moving towards? That was what we're moving away from. So collectively, what are we moving towards? So this is good. So we're moving towards the Two of Coins energy. So these are part of the same suit here. So now we're going to be balancing something new. We're going to be in this karmic juggling act of balancing something new, reinventing ourselves in a new way, reinventing what a Monday work structure looks like, reinventing what a Monday is, and like the type of mood we're going to have towards Mondays, reinventing who we are in this world. Are you a compassionate person that cares about other people? Are you a selfish person who is still in this paradigm of caring about your money and your self-worth in terms of the material world? Or are you going to try to be a better person and use your gifts, talents, and abilities for the higher good? You know, that is something that we're moving towards. It's like, what's important to you at this time? And we're going to have a lot of time to reflect and value and think about that. You know, what's the juggling, I can't speak, what is the juggling act that you want to continue to have in your life? Do you want to continue trying to juggle, you know, your career and your money and things that aren't really going anywhere and wasting your time in that old world? Or do you want to try to think differently? And it takes time to think differently. That's why it takes asking your guides, connecting with source, and how to think differently. And we don't have all the answers right now and how to do that. But in June, July, we're going to have our next Mercury retrograde in Cancer. So it's going to be in Cancer the entire time. So we're going to really have to sit with ourselves and reevaluate our family life and our home life. So start doing the work now. Start doing the work now before we get into the summer of cleaning house, of shifting our focus and our perspective, and get rid of the ideas that we had for our life this year. So a lot of us came into 2020 having this to-do list and like, oh, I want to accomplish these things. I want to travel here. I want to do this. You got to toss that list in the garbage and start fresh. And there's no better time to start fresh than an Aries season. You know, meditate, contemplate, hold a crystal or whatever is like a sentimental or valuable like object to you in some way, or that gives you some type of inspiration. Like, be around that to think creatively, think differently. Think of something that you might have to do that you never thought you would have to do before, or another career avenue that you can maybe do online. Like, it's all about reinvention, and it's all about how do you want to juggle your next moves, because you want to be juggling something different than what you have been in the past, because then you're just going to get overwhelmed. So I think, yeah, collectively, we need to start shifting our focus into something different, because what we've been doing in the past will no longer work this time around, because this is something new. Like, never, and we have to start thinking about this, like, this has never happened in the history of the world before. Never. So start thinking differently, because the old plans that you had, the old actions and ways of doing things is not going to work in a new world. It's going to be rejected, and you're going to end up stressed out and imbalanced. Like, you want to be able to keep that karmic balance within yourself, because if you move correctly with the change that's happening around you, if you're flowing correctly with the change that's happening around you, then good things will come to you because you're doing the right things. But if you continue to be greedy, you continue to be selfish, you continue to be putting your own needs before someone else's, continue to be chasing your career and, you know, your financial ambitions, you're going to be left behind and you're not going to survive the shift. So it's time to get on board before things go crazy with eclipse season this summer. Okay, so the last card. Where can we find hope and inspiration? Okay, so we have the Four of Coins here. There's a theme that's been happening, and I've been thinking about this a lot. So we're in coins energy, and the Four of Coins is a character, or it's a, you know, aspects of ourselves that feel stingy, that feel like we have to protect and we have to hold and we have to hoard and we can't share what's ours. You know, like, we are afraid to, you know, give money to someone because that makes our, you know, bank account have less money. Like, it's very selfish energy. It's also very frugal energy. Like, Taurus comes into my mind when I see the Four of Coins. But Taurus, they're very frugal and they're also like very cheap, but they, like, you know, have a lot of money, but, you know, they're very concerned of where they spend it, and It's a whole thing. But Four of Coins energy is just that we need to embrace and be open and be more giving and stop trying to hoard, stop trying to protect and hold tight to our material possessions, because with the Ten of Coins reversed, that's no longer going to work. That mentality is not going to work. That selfish mentality of this is mine and I'm not going to share it with you. You know, that's what our government's doing. Like, we have so much money. We have so much money. Like, there should be no reason why people are poor in this country. But there's this huge divide between rich and poor. And it's unfair. And these structures are going to fall. And as these structures fall, we're going to have a way to reshape how we're going to transmute this money into the world. But that's like a far future thing. But as of right now, you know, we do have the resources to get everyone out of poverty. We do have resources to give everyone health care. Like, the money is there. It's just, it hasn't been accumulated correctly because of this Four of Coins energy of selfishness. The selfishness is going to kill us. And it has been killing us. Just like, you know, on the news, you know, now countries, especially the U.S., is being stingy with their medical supplies. Well, we have to help other people. Like, we have to get into our heads. We have to start programming into our heads. It's not about us. What's going to help us survive, what's going to help us cure this pandemic so we can have normalcy again, is looking for other people. It's not going to be thinking about ourselves. Like, there is no us. It's all about everyone. We have to start thinking for everyone. We can't just be thinking about our own needs, our own money, our own resources. We got to share, because that is how we're going to get through this. And we can find hope and inspiration by knowing that this card is reversed, that we're now in a position where we're starting to realize and open up our eyes that we can no longer hoard and we can no longer protect what we have, because material possessions is not going to save your life. Your health is. That's where the value lies. It's in your health. We need to start showing kindness. We need to start showing joy. We need to start showing hope and inspiration that we care about each other, that we want to make masks for other people, that we want to donate to food banks and to help out in some way that we can at home as we're quarantined, by giving back to the collective. And that is the shift we're going into for the next 2,000 years, since we're in the beginning of Age of Aquarius. We're going to start seeing that. You know, hopefully we become more of a socialist society where we look out for each other instead of looking out for ourselves. And, you know, it's the year of the Empire. And the Emperor is a tarot card that rules Aries, and Aries is all about the self. And our karmic lesson this year is that we need to stop the mentality of thinking only for ourselves. And we got to get off of that masculine power trip. We got to wear our crown differently this time around as we sit on the throne. And that means inviting other people to share the throne with us. It's not just us. Okay, so we have snip, snip. So again, we got to start cutting the bullshit. We got to stop with the lack mentality. And we got to stop lying to ourselves that we don't have enough toilet paper, that we don't have enough of money or blah blah blah, because there's someone else that is way less privileged than you. So we have to stop lying to ourselves of scarcity, because it's a lie. It's a lie to keep us safe. It's a lie to keep us pretending that we're being a good person when really we're just being shitty by having this mentality of lack. Because if you want to see lack, you can see someone that doesn't even know how they're going to pay for their house, or they're homeless on the street and don't even have the access to be quarantined. Like, we really have to start waking up as a society and snipping out the selfishness in all of our lives, because we all take part in it. We all take part because we've been raised in a society where we only care about ourselves. We don't care about other people. And you see that through the actions of others. You see that through how people treat each other. And you see that in yourselves with the things that you worry about, because you worry about scarcity. But you don't have scarcity because someone out there has it worse than you. So you have to continue to spread the messages of gratitude, of hope, that not only things will get better, but things are not going to get better through money. Things are not going to get better through your career, because your career is not going to help save this pandemic. your money is not going to help really save people from this pandemic. What's going to help is generosity, is caring, is compassion, is coming together and sharing our resources, sharing our knowledge, sharing our gifts and our wisdom to help each other out. We got to start cutting the selfishness from our lives. And it's hard. It's hard because we've been raised in a patriarchal society to value ourselves and to value these material possessions. But at the end of the day, that is not the way through this darkness. The way through the light is trying to do something different this time around. Is trying to reprioritize kindness and compassion and hope instead of money and career. Because that's not the answer. That's not it. So I'm going to pull one more clarifier from Morgan's, and then that's going to be it because we have 10 more minutes. Okay. And then, what a beautiful card. But we have death and rebirth here. So Scorpio energy is coming through. You know, we're globally going through a death and rebirth cycle. And it is very real, you guys. This is the new normal. We got to put our career and our financial ambitions behind us. Like, it's hard because we love those things. We want to see, you know, we want these things for us. And we want that American dream. But the American dream is a lie. It's shit. And we got to have this death process inside of us on a physical level, you know, seeing people die from this virus, you know, seeing our loved ones die from this virus, seeing globally people die from the virus. We have to see the physical death, and we have to see the internal death of how our needs, our aspirations, like what we thought we wanted for our lives, how that's dying, because we need to have a rebirth. We got to have a rebirth of how we're collectively going to come together and save this planet so we can be a better person, a better contributor, so our life can have value and have merit in this world. And, you know, that's the medicine. The medicine is transformation. And no transformation comes easy because we have to alchemize the death into a birth, a rebirthing process. And, you know, that's the beauty. The pain is beauty. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the reading. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm going to send a picture, post a picture of the spread on Instagram. The spread's available on my Instagram and website, and I'm going to post this video on YouTube either tomorrow or Monday of this reading. But death is the healing, everyone, and thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next week. All right, bye.